With the map in Fortnite being so huge, you'd think that every place in it is filled with a splendid selection of loot from weapons to meds and even transportation. It's got everything. Everything Squidward's Paradise had in that one episode of SpongeBob and more. And while this is the case for a lot of places, there are some locations in Fortnite that aren't really what we make them out to be. Just like Squidward's Paradise became hell after he got bored of doing the exact same thing every single day. And there are some locations in Fortnite that we just cannot stand. Like these are the spots that could be removed and we'd actually be okay with it. And we think you'd be okay with it too. So here's a list of the top 5 worst Fortnite locations that need to be taken out, whether that be a meteor crushing them getting sucked back in through the rift they came from, or just hoisting them out of here and bulldozing the remains. And then we look back at our beloved removed locations like the factory. But why? Why did it have to go? Do you guys remember the time I landed at Factory? And actually, that's as far as the memory goes. Well, what a disappointing flashback. Anyway, if you like this video and subscribe, we will personally remove the most thumbs up location in the comments from the game. Trust us, our dad's no epic. This list is in no specific order. If you haven't entered the giveaway, do it. But it's just about time for the question of the day. In at number 5, we've got Loot Lake. One thing I think we can all agree on is hoping the storm circle doesn't spawn on the other side of Loot Lake. Having to make your way around the edges is time wasting, and sure, you can build across, but that's just a waste of materials. The fact that it takes up such a large area of the map with minimal loot, you'd think that Loot Lake would have gotten a decent update by now, but to be fair, they did update one of the factories and turn it into another disco room, but I don't think that's going to cut it. The entire area is an open field day with minimal cover and minimal loot. It's old, and to be honest, I think that we're all just a bit tired of hopping across the water. If they put a couple bridges across the thing or something, or maybe even boats, it would make the place a lot better. Having the whole of Loot Lake to build, we could easily replace it with another more modern named area. Keeping the water theme in mind, though, a simple and perfect solution for all our problems could be a water park. In terms of in-game specifics, I'm sure Epic could get really creative with this, but strategically, a water park contains a lot of rides, scaffolding, and buildings, and compared to Loot Lake, it's gonna provide a lot more cover. You could even build it going over the original Loot Lake. Have it raised above the water with pathways reaching out across the water. Rides could be used to travel across the lake itself. It still provides the original Loot Lake concepts, but with a whole new upgrade. We're struggling to think of a name for this water park, though. What would you name it? Number 4 is Wailing Woods. Whenever you want to get max wood really quickly and safely, Wailing Woods has always been one of the best places to go. But now, Wailing Woods seems to be one of the few places on the map barely touched by the developers. At the very start of the game, the loot spawns were minimal, but an update introduced caravans around the area where you could find chests. Since then, Wailing Woods has been completely ignored by the updates. They even removed the fox statue they had at the back of Wailing Woods with the Season 5 update. To be honest, them removing the fox could be a possible clue that they intend to alter the area of the map entirely, so how could we improve Wailing? Well, do we need to keep the tree theme as it's pretty much stenciled into the map right now, or does it need to get more interesting? If they increase the size of the maze and added more loot, it will not only be a more active area, but be great for some mini-games too. A possible theme for Wailing could be ruin-type buildings fully grown over and raising up just over the tree line like old broken stone towers. I could easily imagine that livening up the area. Just tons of foliage kind of growing out of the roots, just wrapping around this really old architecture. Either way, they do need to add some more content to that part of the map. A lot of the community would rather avoid going to Wailing Woods, as right next door you have more loot-filled areas like Risky Reels and Lonely Lodge. Then they'll only skim the edges or pop through Wailing Woods if they need some extra wood. With some more structures added to the location, this could easily be a decent landing zone again instead of just a pit stop for materials as it has been. Especially with playground mode now being added, there's really no reason to even come to Wailing Woods because people that want to build crazy creations and stuff like that can just do it in playground mode, and people that want to learn how to build better or edit quicker can do the same thing anywhere else. Number 3 is Junction. Now, the fox at Wailing Woods may have disappeared, but we still have our llama at Junction. The only issue is, do we really like Junction? It looks cool and everything, but looting an area can be a bit of a pain. With each individual area of loot being raised on top of something or buried in something, you end up wasting time and material just trying to get around the whole area. Plus, considering it's a scrapyard, I would have thought that the area gave you a ton of metal, but realistically, it's just not that much. The only reason people are still using it right now are due to the Moai statue placed in the spot where the football stadium used to be. They could land at Junction, assuming it'll be safe, and then hop in a rift without the massive trek. It's a smart beginning strategy, but Junction itself is looking a little dull. The whole area doesn't really stand out much right now, so eventually they're going to have to update it. Whatever they decide to build, though, I hope it has a bit more energy to it, because going to Pleasant Park every time the bus is coming in on that side of the map is starting to get a little boring. We need to fill this map up with cities already. Number 2 is the trailer park. So if I was to ask you guys where the trailer park was, would you know? I'm guessing not all of you would, and not surprisingly, as it's just a community nickname for the unnamed location between Lonely Lodge and Retail Row. This spot is a little bit of a mystery for a lot of serious players, as the trailer park has been completely untouched since the beginning of the game with no storyline activity going anywhere near this location. It's literally a no man's land in the eyes of Fortnite. It just doesn't seem to exist to them at this moment. It's not hard to see why, as this entire area only has 3 chests and a few areas with floor loot. The only good thing about this location is that you know it's so bad that most people leave it. So when you're nearby and in need of supplies, you can be pretty positive it'll be unlooted. Not only is this place bad for loot, but the entire trailer park has hills all the way around, which can make for easy ambushes and difficult retreats. However, with the new desert biome appearing right next to the trailer park, there's a chance that the new biome could grow over it and create something new in its path. Leaks have confirmed that certain areas of the map will be completely gone by the time Season 6 comes around. Let's see how many on our list make it. And as for the honorable mentions, we've got Flush Factory. I'm not sure if Flush Factory is the most boring place ever, but it's on the very edge of the map, and that can get a bit annoying. Actually, really annoying. Nobody wants to go through Running Simulator. With one of the recent challenges asking us to search chests in Flush Factory, I would have thought that they added something, but no, it's pretty much the same as it's always been. An idea I've always thought would be pretty cool is a quick travel system at Flush Factory. Have some toilets around the area that can be activated. It drops you down into an underground water pipe that spits you out somewhere else on the map. Similar to the rifts, it would definitely encourage people to travel more to the edge of the map if they knew of a quicker way to travel inland. Speaking of inland, remember the very center of the map where that giant hole was? Well, there used to be a set of factories that were quite popular before the comet came down straight on top of it, creating Dusty Divot. As the map's been evolving, smaller craters have been filled in, trees and vegetation are growing all over Dusty, and small convoys of building material and equipment have been traveling around the map. Currently on the south edge of the crater at Dusty Divot, you can find 3 trucks, one of which is loaded with building supplies. But where is that work going to be done? There's a chance that the trucks are just making their way around the crater to the original Dusty warehouses for the repairs. On the other hand, a vast portion of the community are really hoping that those trucks are there to rebuild the old factories. Some evidence that supports this is that the trucks are parked right next to where the original factories would have been. Number 1 is Tomato Town. Tomato Town's been around since the beginning, and with only 1 chest spawn in the main area, I'm surprised people haven't driven it out of town yet, so to speak. You have a better chance of going to the house just to the west or the tunnel to the south for loot. So why does this whole town take up so much space for 1 chest and a bit of floor loot? It's pointless. Something I think gives Tomato Town that get out of jail free card for most people is the tunnel. A lot of the community enjoy the tunnel and are constantly asking for more underground areas, but if we could replace just the town, leaving the tunnel still standing, what could we put in its place? Honestly, I personally would love to see them widen the tunnel mountain, which would cover most of the town. This way, they could extend the size of the tunnels, creating anything from an underground hangar base to an intricate cave city. But truthfully, as long as it's got more than 1 chest, I don't mind what they replace it with. I'm pretty sure they already have it in the plans, though. The rifts that appeared in Fortnite teleported a lot of the signs from towns to random locations. The Retail Row sign is at the top of the map near Risky Reels, and some of them are not in Battle Royale right now. I mean, even the Dirt Burger was found in the real world. But the Tomato Head has never been found, and theory follows that those towns affected by the rifts will all eventually be replaced in some way. Hopefully, Tomato Town gets the upgrade that it deserves. But that has been our list of the top 5 worst Fortnite locations that need to be removed. Are there any of our picks that you disagreed with? Is there anything that's not on the list that we could have included that you think should be removed from Fortnite? Let us know what your picks would be if you could remove locations from the game and why you would pick them. If it had been up to me, then I would remove Tilted Towers, but I know that a lot of you guys love Tilted Towers, so That's about it for me. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Be sure to answer the question of the day and enter the giveaway if you have not already. And keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.